Okay, so today we're going to be looking at Project Center, which is where you can manage your different projects and who has access to those projects. So to access Project Center, in the top right-hand side of the page, we've got our admin menu, and we can click that and then click Project Center. So in Project Center, we've got two main tabs. So on the left-hand side, if I click this navigation bar, we can see we've got a Projects tab and a People tab. So I'm currently in the Projects tab. So in the Projects tab, we have a list of projects for our organization. For each of those projects, we can see the name of the project, the stage, so whether it's active or completed or in testing, the launch date and the close date, if applicable. You won't see a close date for a project that hasn't closed, and you won't see a launch date for a project that hasn't gone live. And then you've got the total number of visitors, comments, and agreements for each project. And if I hover over this information point here, it tells me that this data is synced once a day at midnight, so it's not live data. I can sort my project by different criteria, so if I want to sort by the date it was created or alphabetically by name, things like that. And then I can click on a project, so click on that row to open that project's dashboard, or I can click the three dots icon here and I can either edit the project, which takes me into edit mode for that project, or I can click share, and that will allow me to share a link to the project via email or just by copying a link or things like that. So if I want to create a new project, I can go to New Project in the top right-hand corner here, and I'm given a list of templates first of all. So for each of the templates, I can see the name of the template and what it was designed for. Each of these templates are created by Commonplace based on our best practices, based on different projects we've run for each type of project. And if I click Preview, I can go into that template and I can see what it looks like. So I can see the pre-populated tiles and questions and things like that. So if I create a project from this template, I can just start with this canvas and then edit it as I want to go. If I don't want to use a template, I can click Create Custom, and that allows me to create a blank project. For each project, whether it's created from a template or a blank project, we need to provide the project name, so that could be my test project, a URL, so this will be in the format something.commonplace.is, so in this case it will be mytestproject.commonplace.is. A latitude and longitude, so this is the center point of the project. The easiest way to get this is if I go to Google Maps, I can select a location. So perhaps my project is centered around the Thames. I can right-click a point on the map, and I get this, my first option in this menu here is the latitude and longitude coordinates. So I will select those, and that will copy them to my clipboard. I can then go back and paste those in. They both paste into the location field by default, so I'll just copy the longitude, paste it there, and put the full stop back in. If I want my project to be in any languages other than English, I can include those here. I can also provide an estimated launch date and an estimated close date. So if I want my project to launch on the 6th of May, and then I want it to close on the 31st of May, these dates aren't set in stone, so we won't automatically launch the project when we reach these dates, but it gives us a good indication of what your plans are in terms of launching your project. So if I click Next, that will create my project, and if I go back to my list of projects, we can now see my test project that I've just created is in my list of projects here. So next we'll look at the People section. So if I go to the navigation bar here and select People, again I have a list of projects. But this time, if I click on the project, I can see a list of users on this project. For each one, I can see their name, their first name and last name, their email address, what their role is, and the date they were added. Each of the different rows is in a different color to represent their status of the user. So a user with a white background has accepted their invite. A user with a grey background has been sent an invite but has not yet accepted it. And a user with a red background has received an invite and has not accepted it within the time limit. So when we send an invite to new users, the link remains active for 7 days and then it expires as a security measure. So if I want to resend that invite, I can go to the 3 dots menu here and I can resend it. I can also delete them if I change my mind about them being a user on this project. I can do the same. I can delete the person who has yet to accept their invite. And for users who have accepted their invites already, I can either delete them or I can edit them. So if I go to edit, I can change the role of this user. So we can see if I select from the drop down here, we have all the different roles that are available. The top level is lead admin. So a lead admin can access the project while it's in draft. They can access the dashboard. They can send news posts out. They can use the paper form or interview mode. They can access Project Center and change the different access levels everyone else has. So things like that. A regular admin has the same permissions, except regular admins can remove other admins, whereas a lead admin can only be removed by the Commonplace team. A communications manager can access the different news functions on the project, as they can send project news and also see news-related pages in the dashboard. A tester can view the site while it's in draft mode, but they can't make any edits. So that's good for if you have internal stakeholders and you want them to be able to review the site but not to be able to make any changes. Next we have surveyors. So surveyors can access the paper form interview mode, which is specifically designed for either uploading paper form versions of the survey or for surveying people face-to-face at events or workshops. Data analysts can access the different dashboard pages, but they're not able to do other things. And then finally, we have stakeholders who are specifically for invite-only projects where you only want to be able to have respondents who've been specifically invited. So I can select the role I want them to have, and I can either click Save to save that change, or I can click the X here to cancel. Now let's say I want to add a new user onto my project, and there are 2 different ways of doing this. So I can either go to Add New Team Member down here, and if I select that, I can search by name. And that will give me a list of anyone already on a project under this organization with that name, and I can just select them to choose that person and add them. Alternatively, I can go to Add Team Member in the top right here. So that allows me to create a new user. So I can put their name in and their email address, and I can choose which role they have. If I want to add multiple people, I can just click Add More, or I can remove them if I change my mind. And then I need to choose which projects they'll be added to. So I can go to the drop down here, and I can either choose from one of my projects, so maybe my test project, or I can add them at the account level, which means that they'll have access to all of the projects under this organization. And once I click Send Invite, the invite will be sent and they'll have 7 days to click that link. And once they do so, they will create their account and set up their password, and then they'll be able to log in and start accessing the project. So that pretty much covers Project Center. If you need further information, you can always access our help articles via the question mark help icon in the top right here.